my mind.
And that was Toby Mac with Heaven on My Mind. You're on 94.9. It is 16 minutes past 4 and it's Tuesday afternoon. Time for Creation Ministries International. And this afternoon we have Mark James all the way from New Zealand on the line. Good afternoon, Mark.
Good afternoon, Mick. Good afternoon, listeners. It's great to join you again.
Oh, it's awesome to have you. Now, of course, everyone should remember that we encourage questions while we're speaking to our Creation Ministries speakers. If you have any questions, please just send them through to us via text. That's on 0401 949 949. And, of course, we can answer them on air then. I know a lot of people do have questions, and the easy way to get the answers is to go to creation.com, your website, right, Mark? But this way we can answer them on air, because chances are if someone has a question, there'll be a bunch of other people with a similar question, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mick, there's no such thing as a silly question.
No, well, I've got a silly question. No, it's not silly. I've got a question that's definitely not a silly question. I was hoping to ask you today to have a bit of a chat about an article that I saw you had written on the creation.com website. And it looked really cool. It was about evolution versus human behaviour. Would that be okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to talk about that article.
Yes, I mean, it looks pretty cool. And, of course, we hear so much about evolution. Of course, there's so many famous speakers that we hear on the radio and on TV in particular talk about evolution. They make it sound as though it's a foregone conclusion, but in a lot of cases they're just good speakers, right?
Yes, that's the case, yes. You know, have you noticed how in this modern world, everything that seems to be going wrong around the world, the finger gets pointed at us human beings.
Yeah.
So things like global warming, it's all our fault. What we're doing now, it's all our fault.
Yep.
Back in the 70s, it was global cooling that we were being blamed for.
Yep.
There's extinctions of organisms, mass extinctions. There's floods, there's famines, there's plagues, there's deforestation, landslides, earthquakes. We even get blamed for earthquakes. So all these things that are happening around the world today, and the finger constantly it's being pointed back at us human beings. We're causing all these problems. And David Attenborough, the naturalist and the man who has those amazing TV programs,
Yes.
He actually said at one stage that humans are a plague on Earth. In other words, we are a plague. We are causing all these bad things to happen. By the way, David Attenborough, in about 2.5 weeks, he turns 100 years old.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It is, and you know what? We Christians should be praying for him because he sees all this amazing stuff around the world, but he does not give glory to God.
Yeah, such an amazing speaker. But, I mean, everyone knows his voice. It'll be sort of sad to miss him at 100 years old. He probably won't get another 100 in, I don't think.
He certainly won't. He still seems to be going strong, but there's going to come a time when he is going to meet his maker, and we need to pray that when he does, he will bend the knee, I suppose.
Yes. I got to say, I'm surprised, though. He's spent so much time talking about science. And, we've had so many of you guys, Creation Ministries guys, that have, some of you were not Christians. You decided to, do your science stuff. And in one case, one of the guys I speak to, he wanted to prove to his wife that, Christianity was the wrong thing. So he went out to prove it and, he became a Christian. And that sort of thing happens a bit. I mean, I know you were brought up in a Christian family, weren't you? And then you became a scientist.
I was brought up in a Christian family. I had a science teacher for a mother. But we never really took the Bible seriously. And when I went to university, I just thought, you know what, I don't believe this anymore. I decided evolution was true. I decided the Earth was billions of years old. The Bible was wrong, and therefore Christianity must be wrong. And because of that, I actually lived for 20 years as an atheist.
Wow.
And it was 20 wasted years as well. 20 wasted years.
What turned you back?
What turned me back? We have 3 adopted Russian orphans.
Yep.
And one evening I was just sitting in my eldest son's room, listening to him breathe. My science brain was telling me that all I was listening to was just chemical reaction, synchronized chemical reaction, nothing more. And in that instant, I realized, actually, I didn't believe that anymore. And it just set me on the path to where I am today as a biblical creationist.
Wow, that's awesome. Look, now back to this story. This evolution versus human behavior. Tell us a little bit more.
Okay, well, the thing is, if evolution is true, if we human beings are just nothing more than just an evolved primate, the result of random mutations and natural selection over millions of years, then we humans are just another part of nature. Mm-hmm. So anything we do is basically nature in action. So if we drive a species to extinction, then it's just natural selection. I mean, if the burning of fossil fuels causes a runaway greenhouse effect, and it's not doing that, but if it did and cooked the planet, then it's just basically a natural occurrence because we are part of nature. Mm. And in fact, if you think about it, the atheistic evolutionary worldview is true, everything is natural. And in fact, if the atheistic evolutionary explanation is true, the word unnatural can have no meaning. Yes, because true. Everything is natural.
Mm. Wow. Yes, and of course, there's a lot of people in that boat, though, that they'd prefer to see a world with no humans.
Yeah, well, exactly. But see, this is the thing. I mean, it's this atheistic worldview. It's not how people live. I mean, we mourn the loss of biodiversity. We agonize over the size of our carbon footprint. If somebody set off a nuclear weapon and killed millions of people, we would be horrified. We're horrified by acts of cruelty to animals. Now, I'm not saying that all humans behave like this, but because some of us can, because some of us do, all of us can, and effectively we humans are held to a higher moral standard than the rest of nature. But if nature is all there is, why are we held to this higher moral standard?
Yep, absolutely.
This doesn't make sense.
No, I mean, environmentalists, they want to leave the planet in a better shape than they found it. That's what you hear, right?
Absolutely. Yep. In fact, that's another quote from David Attenborough. He basically says, surely we have a responsibility to leave for future generations a planet that is healthy, inhabitable by all species. But if evolution is true, why does he say we have that responsibility? If we're just part of nature, it just doesn't make sense from an evolutionary perspective.
It's a little scary when you look at the other side.
Well, it is, but there's this huge disconnect, I suppose, between what these people believe and the way they live their lives. And it's just how can I put it? It's a disconnect. It's a disconnect that, and when you talk to people about it and say, okay, so you believe in evolution, why do you then think that we have this moral obligation to look after us? They don't really have an answer to it.
Yeah, it sort of doesn't go together.
It doesn't. It's a disconnect, a huge disconnect. And you know what? It's terrible, isn't it? But I enjoy poking fun at this disconnect, because the people who believe in evolution but live these moral lives, often they just don't see it. They don't understand. They can't explain why they behave the way they do. They just say, well, that's just the way it is. Yeah. And it doesn't make an awful lot of sense. But you know where the biggest disconnect happens? It's in our human behavior, the way we actually interact with nature. I mean, and it's just amazing, some of the things that we do that just don't make sense from an evolutionary perspective.
Yes. Yeah, wow. Well, look, we're going to have to go into a little break right now. If you have any questions for Mark James, please send them through to our text line 0401 949 949. And this afternoon we've been talking about evolution versus human behaviour. You are on Rhema 94.9. It's 26 minutes past 4. That was Anthony Evans with Fearless. You're on Rhema 94.9. It is 10 minutes to 5, and I'm going to say a big sorry for not being able to finish our chat with Mark James from New Zealand. Fortunately, our lines somehow just got cut and we couldn't connect again. Don't know if it's the undersea cable or if it's software or what it might have been. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the roads.